turn in. The fuck? The track is on the other side, but there are some more interesting artifacts that you can find alongside the track. Good morning, comrades! Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to our beloved Nürburgring Nordschleife, of a series of track walk videos. We'll be walking alongside the track, or actually on the track, and talking to you about reference points, about some history, about ins and outs. But first of all, a very important disclaimer: can you walk on the track yourself? Off-season during winter, yes. When it's snowing, yes. Now with the construction works on the weekend, you could possibly do that, but always be careful. Do not hurt yourself, especially now with the construction works taking place. Do not fall into any manhole, any pit. Do not take the dogs. That's also official request and statement by the Nürburgring, because they can especially hurt themselves, and this is something that you do not want to happen as a dog owner. And be cautious. And most importantly, actually, Nürburgring is organizing official track day walks where you can walk and cycle legally, officially, for just like, I believe, 10 euros a lap or something. So I'll try to insert the link in the video description if those are already public for this year. But in any case, let's get started. We already walked the first part from the T13 and Sabine Schmidt's curve up until Hatzenbach. And now we are here in Hatzenbach again, yes. And we'll proceed our lap towards Hocheichen, Quiddelbacher, Höhe, Flugplatz, Schwedenkreuz, and probably Vauxhall or Fuchsröhre today. So, we ended our video here when you arrive towards the tire wall over here, and then you go to the 3-kilometer sign, which is a very nice reference point. Position yourself already more on the left side and go hard on the brakes, relatively hard. I would say for the beginner you can use the tarmac transition as a reference point for the braking and stay very long left. It is a pretty late apex corner followed after that, and quite a tricky one because there are lots of elements that can unsettle you. First of all, we will see in a bit how much elevation change there is, how much camber there is, and it's also quite a blind double corner because first it goes to the right curbstone. I suggest to stay off it. Quite often, even professional drivers stay off it. We can actually see here a white dot which can be used as a turning point. Quite a nice turning point. I explained it in the previous video that the white dots are often used by the racing driving schools for their students to indicate either the turning point or braking points. So from the white dot towards the right curb, and you can see actually from here it becomes blind. So what you think as a beginner, as a novice, that the track just goes to the right and continues going somewhere over there. But it is not exactly the case, because after that you already need to turn in to the left, and if you run too much wide, yeah, you will end up already on the grass off the track. Something that actually happened last year when we were driving with an Alpine, but it happened because it was wet and we were pushed off the track due to rain. Nürburgring is very slippery when it is raining. So here you can actually see the nice elevation changes, and especially if you're watching from there, you can clearly see cars coming over the hill, and that's how it's one of the most, I would say, videogenic, photogenic locations where you can show how many differences in gradients, in undulations and camber there is. So as mentioned, on the left, watch out. Although there is a curbstone, but if you end up on the grass, it will be already probably too late. From the left curb, you can proceed to run wide to the right side, and then it's pretty much flat out towards Quiddelbacher Höhe, because it is the last corner, or let's say a corner before a long straight. It's also very important for lap times, because a corner that is before a long straight, in this case Quiddelbacher Höhe, it's important to get it right to reach the highest top speed possible over there. And here's an example why it can be a dangerous section. I wonder what this tail light is from. Yeah, that you can, when you end up on the grass or just simply get unsettled and end up, well, either in this barrier or ricochet to the other one. So be extra cautious here before proceeding onto the main straight of the Quiddelbacher Höhe. If you really want to, you can even use this curbstone to go on it, and some cars, as you can see, even go on the grass. And over there you have a very nice spectator hole through the fence, which gives you a spectacular view because cars come very close here. It's one of my favorite spots to do Nürburgring prototype spotting, as you may know. It's very nice here. We'll try to include the Google Maps location how you can get here. Lots and lots of dirt and mud on the left side of the track, but it's not a big deal because you have to go from the middle towards the right side, close to the right fence, or even, I would say, right barrier of the bridge. And this is also again a part where advanced drivers with track knowledge gain a lot of time, because it's still flat out till the top of Quiddelbacher Höhe. There's one significant thing that I want to say, that last year I did experience another, I would say, bump once you come over the bridge that can unsettle the car quite a lot, especially a car with not like with too good of a setup, or a very heavy car, because a good example would be RS6, the V10 RS6 I was driving. It was, yeah, quite unsettling when we went full speed over the crest here, so be kind of cautious here. Understeer. Good to know for feature corners. Yeah. Especially Flugplatz, probably we'll have to take it a bit easier. Whoa.
It's damn heavy.
Yeah, it's really heavy. So to then proceed to the top left side of Quiddelbacher Höhe, what many people confuse with the name of Flugplatz. This is, by the way, a bridge over a public road, as you can see. And here on the right is a nice parking for Quiddelbacher Höhe, which is often very full during the race weekends. And if you alternatively decide to walk on the left, over there you will end up going towards Schwedenkreuz. So just in case you want to come here, again we will try to insert the link to Google Maps so you can enjoy spectating the Nürburgring in the best possible way. Well, as you can see, even on weekends the track can still be alive and there is traffic going, so watch out, as mentioned at the beginning. Anyway, arriving on top of Quiddelbacher Höhe. No, it's not Flugplatz yet. So, nice to brake at the sign actually. Pro drivers brake way before entering, well, I mean way after, I'm sorry, before doing the right-hander, but it's good to stabilize your car here. Before 2015 there was also a jump here, and the jump is still existing in most of the sim racing games. So in case you're sim racing, watch out, you need to go on the brakes. Or in case you're watching some video that is showing you a car coming from over there, jumping crazy, and then maybe going in the wall, and everyone resharing it like crazy because graphics look similar to real life, be aware, it's a sim game. But most importantly, this section is a combination of skill, track knowledge, and car setup. Because very fast cars with lots of aerodynamics can take this corner with roughly 180 kilometers per hour, maybe even more, maybe 190 with a very high downforce. But yeah, go on the brakes before turning into the right side and run a bit wider to the left side, and then it's going to be another right-hander. But proceed with caution, but more importantly, because it's such a high-speed section, be aware of other extremely fast traffic coming up behind you. And when you are staying on the right side of the track, be aware for this fast traffic that is overtaking you, that they will turn into the right curbstone, or they will want to turn into the right curbstone. But do not be intimidated, because the one who is overtaking, and if you are staying on the right side, they need to make a safe pass. And the fast guys behind you, they want to crash into you even less than you want them to crash into you, if you get what I mean. Here's another white dot that you can use as a turn-in reference point towards the right curbstone. I do have to comment one thing, because this is such a high-speed blind corner. I have to sadly admit that this is also one of the places where pile-up crashes happen, because one car can crash into the barrier, ricochet off, and then another car coming with extremely high speed and does not see the car, ends up in the debris or into another car. This is a place where I've seen many pile-ups, but luckily, hopefully, well, certainly this digitalization system that is being now implemented on the Nürburgring will prevent these kinds of scenarios, or will help to reduce them. Because if people drive in trains, which means like massive lead and follows, which is officially not allowed by the rules of Touristenfahrten, when things go wrong, they go wrong massively. So that's why I do not recommend to do it. But I know it myself as a driver, you just sometimes get carried away. And when you get carried away, that's when the things happen. So yeah, last thing to say about Quiddelbacher Höhe / Flugplatz. Watch out for snow. Well, just kidding, by the time the track reopens there will be no snow, hopefully. Watch out for this jump over here, unless you want to yeet yourself like GTA into the tire ball. Just kidding, this will be probably, hopefully closed. Yeah, running optionally wide on the curbstones. Hopefully not, because then you're going really hard, but they are there to save you in case you need this extra half a meter. Towards the right curb, and then flat out towards Cottonborn, a name that's not being used anymore, and then of course Schwedenkreuz. So fast forward over there. When driving slower cars, or especially under yellow during sunset, I love to look to the right to watch the castle. Well, I think Adrian has a better equipped lens to show it to you. And look, you have the poles there for the cameras ready to be installed. Another thing you will probably not notice while you're driving down is not only the castle or the poles, well, the poles will be already installed by the time the track gets reopened, is this area over here, which used to be an official stop and picnic area. And now it's just a big storage for now for the construction works, and usually it's a marshal post where they also store the crashed race cars during the race to then only evacuate them to the paddock, to the pits, or to the race teams after the race. But it also gives you a very nice view over Schwedenkreuz. I'm gonna show you from here. Very high-speed section where some cars, such as GT2 RS or AMG 1 of course, reach speeds of slightly above 300 kilometers per hour. It's also a very nice section for me when I'm driving with different people, to see how excited and sometimes scared the passengers get due to high speeds that we're reaching. And then after traveling very fast downhill down this almost straight, you will arrive at Schwedenkreuz. According to many, one of the most dangerous sections of the track, because it's high speed, blind crest to the left side. On the right you will see two signs, exclamation mark and the 5 kilometer sign, which I always recommend to use as a reference point for braking, especially as a beginner. Brake probably even before the exclamation mark, and shortly after 5 kilometer sign you can start turning into the left curbstone. And it's a very important part of the track that you need to have visualized to know where you need to keep on steering while going blindly into the corner. It's also a very important part of the track where you will gain lots of lap times once you will become more confident, better driver, and have a very well set up car with lots of aerodynamics. I remember when I just started racing back in 2019 on the Nürburgring, when I started to commit myself and be confident about it, I gained at least 5 seconds through here. Well, probably more as well, but you can consider, because usually I do between 170 and 190 kilometers per hour. Kevin Estre with GT3 RS MR is doing 240 over there, because, well, confident, has nothing to lose. Well, of course you always have something to lose, but you get what I mean. And a speed difference of 50 kilometers per hour is quite a lot, especially on such a, let's say, long and high speed section. By the way, a quick history lesson where the track got its name from, Schwedenkreuz, or the Swedish cross. Just one more thing before a history lesson. As mentioned, shortly after 5 kilometer sign is a turning point, in this case literally a white point or a white dot that I told you earlier about. to turn in to the left side blindly and keep on steering. But our history lesson is over there. This track section, Schwedenkreuz, gets its name from this toilet over here. Okay, enough of the bad jokes. From this cross over here that was installed in 1638 after the Swedish soldiers slain the mayor of Kjellberg, Hans Friedrich Datenberg. So 1638, that's how old it is. Actually, in 1895, the cross broke off. So you can see lots of, I would say, fixtures, or like not glue, but I currently forgot the construction word term, the construction term, but you can see like break, and then they had to like cement it together. And now it's also reinforced with a steel pole behind it. And it's interesting, we can actually see a writing over there. It says restored in 1994. But it's good seeing this cross here, that it has been here for almost 400 years by now. And yeah, that the track section has been renamed after him, as you can see. And here we can actually see one of the old and current marshal posts, telephone posts, that is still being used by the marshals to communicate with each other. It's basically the only, I would say, cable management that you have since 1920s that you have. And that's why the current digitalization project is so massive and expensive, because aside from the telephone connecting poles, you have nothing here. Okay, let's proceed to the last section of today's video, namely Aremberg. Back to the track walk, after the crest, blind turn in. The fuck? Well, it's just like a surprising effect of barriers expanding and changing because sun suddenly came out and they warmed up slightly, and then the metal bends. Yeah, it's always interesting. Sometimes you might think like, oh, a car crashed, but obviously no one crashed. Yeah, coming over the crest, aiming for the left curbstone, stay close to it. You can optionally, if you have to due to the speed, run wide, but try to be on the left side, position yourself for the braking zone. And I always say brake before the end of the left curbstone. Very hard as possible. Especially beginning drivers, they get very much overwhelmed because they have Quiddelbacher, Flugplatz, and then Schwedenkreuz. It's very high-speed section. They're like, oh yeah, we can continue going as fast as we can. But there you have a hard braking zone from 200 almost kilometers per hour into 80, 90, depends on the car that you're driving. So yeah, brake very hard for Aremberg and stay long left until the orange barrier there. Quick detail that Adrian just mentioned, look at that, freshly painted barrier. Because indeed, there's a reason why these barriers get repainted, because when you go over the crest and you, as mentioned previously, you don't know the track layout and you just keep on going too fast, don't keep turning in to the left to end up on the left side because we're filming in opposite direction, you might end up off the track. You can probably see here also on some lines, some brake skid marks. But yeah, then you end up in that barrier over there. But yeah, orange barrier, or actually here, a white dot that indicates a turning point towards the right curbstone to then proceed into the foxhole. But for now, I'm going to say goodbye over here because it's already became a very long video with all the remarks and history lessons, etc. And I hope nevertheless you managed to watch it till the end and that you enjoyed, and looking forward to seeing you in one of the tomorrow's videos, which I don't know what's going to be, something on the Nürburgring, and then of course on the following series about our track walk where we go downhill into the foxhole, one of the most exciting sections of the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Super excited, and even more excited to actually be driving it again in a couple of weeks time, and hopefully with one of you guys. So see you here at the track, and otherwise on my channel. Bye bye.